All right. You ready to go, Joe?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Welcome, everyone, to Beyond the Hype, a Pool Pro's guide to running a smarter business with AI. I am your hostess, Niki Acosta, and I am joined today by Joe Shiraz. He is our director of product marketing, and he's been really deep into AI. And we figured it was a good time to not only provide best practices and share what we're learning about AI, but also share what Skimmer's working on with AI as well. So again, thank you for being here and taking time out of your busy day. We know it's peak season and it's hard to step away sometimes, but we really appreciate you being here. So my obligatory about Skimmer side, we're here to help you build a great business. And the way that we do that is by webinars like this, by the resource hub that we just launched. If you want to go and find a service agreement or a tool or a template or uh, anything that you would need for your business, a price increase calculator, price increase email templates, we have a new resource guide. That is, all these resources are free. They're on our website under the resources tab. So feel free to take advantage of those tools. And we also do it by providing amazing software and great support. We are now at a point where we're servicing over 1 million pools in the United States, which is really fun to reach that mark. But we're here again to help you build a better business. And we thank you all for being here. So, like I said, I'm Niki Acosta. I'm joined today by Joe Shiraz. A few housekeeping items. If you would like to ask a question for the presenters, there is a Q&A feature that you can find on Zoom by hovering over the toolbar in Zoom, and it should open the Q&A box. You are also welcome to participate in the chat as well. But if you're wanting to ask a specific question, please again use that Q&A. It helps us better manage those questions and triage them as they come in. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about AI, the state of AI. We're going to share some research that we discovered through a survey that we sent out to ask folks like yourselves how you're using AI. We're going to look at the AI landscape and the tools that are really gaining traction. We're going to talk a little bit about vibe coding, both the pros and the cons of vibe coding. We're going to talk about a little bit about privacy as well. We'll get into some real use cases that were provided by some of you who are on this call today, and then give you a roadmap on how you can start with AI in your own business, followed by some of the cool things we're working on at Skimmer that should be hitting y'all pretty soon. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Joe so he could talk about the state of AI.
Yeah. And we just wanted to give a little ground, setting the groundworks around AI and like the history of it. So AI has been around for a really long time. It's technically been around since the 50s. Like we had algorithms, machine learnings, but in the last like 4 years, it's really accelerated. And that's because of a couple of things. First is GPUs. The chips that was mainly used for playing video games became really good at like training and working with AI. Next is GPTs, and the T and GPTs are transformers. That was a really efficient way to process data in a new way. And finally, just all the data. Everyone using social media, the internet provided a lot of data to help train AI. Those three main components really kind of all came together to create, ChatGPT and these large LLM, large language models. And back in 2022 when ChatGPT launched, it had 100 million users within 2 months. That's the fastest adoption of any technology ever. Since then, anyone that's following social media and the news, AI has been nothing but anyone's talking about. ChatGPT, Claude bots, agents, right? All these are really prolific and really impacting people's individual lives and businesses as well. So if you feel like you're behind or you feel like it's a lot to keep up with, I think everyone's feeling that right now. It's moving very quickly. And we're here to kind of like cut through the noise and say, hey, what do you need to focus on as a pool pro and what can help you now within your business? So what's actually changing, right? Small businesses are really adopting AI tools very quickly. Over half of SMBs are using Gen AI tools. 40% are reporting productivity gains, right? They're seeing real impact with their business very quickly. Home services has doubled the adoption within the last 18 months. And according to our recent survey, 63 pool pros are using AI, exploring it. And that's already an increase from the survey we did with the State of the Pool service just early this year. So people are starting to dive in. They're starting to learn. They're starting to actually use it for their business. And
So
Anthropic, oh, go ahead.
go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Yep.
Yeah.
And
So we pulled this chart. This was produced by Anthropic on the right. It might be kind of hard to see, but it basically looked at different occupational categories and it said, okay, where is AI making the most traction in terms of being able to automate processes and take over what humans used to do? The good news for everyone on this call, and potentially the reason why you're seeing so much private equity investment coming into home services, is that it's really, really hard to get a robot to replace what you all do on a day to day. Grounds maintenance, caregiving, protective services, installation and repair, kind of all of these things that require humans are going to lag a little bit behind being able to be replaced, at least partially or completely, by AI. And if we look at the jobs that are being automated the most, it's computer programmers, right? It's people who kind of built this technology as a way to kind of help them automate some of the things that they were doing. Customer service, we're seeing, if you've called any customer service line lately, you've probably had AI answer the phone, whether you knew it or not. Data entry, financial analysts, all of these kind of manual or intense technology rich areas where people tend to find employment, they're being automated the fastest. What has the lowest exposure? Again, it's the hands-on field services, food service, healthcare support. Those are things that are still heavily reliant on human input, and it's great for our industry.
And we'd like to take a second for you to think honestly about where your business is. Where are you in the kind of AI maturity curve? Are you aware of it? You heard about it, but quite haven't tried it yet. Are you experimenting, playing with tools, or have ChatGPT on your phone, kind of using it here and there for your business or personally? Are you using AI as an assistant? Are you leveraging it multiple times a day for different workflows, asking it questions, having it do small tasks for you? Or are you much deeper? Are you using AI within your workflows? You have entire kind of workflows or processes that are kind of managed completely by AI. And the last step, which I think a lot of businesses, even large enterprises, are struggling with, is this agentic AI that everyone talks about. AI being autonomous, taking multi-step actions completely on its own. And Nikki, you want to launch that poll now?
Poll is live. I'm wondering if Dean is agentic AI at this point. We've got some power users with us today. We'll leave this open for a few more seconds here. And this is anonymous, by the way, so feel free to be honest on where you're at. It definitely helps us as we work through the rest of this presentation. Dean, I'm not even sure what that word means. So it looks like about there's 16% of you who are kind of in the aware stage, 38% in the experimenting phase, 29% of you using AI as an assistant, and we have 11% working on AI workflows and 7% on agentic AI. So it seems like most folks here, about half, are either in the experimenting or AI as an assistant maturity curve.
Yeah, and I think that's more mature than a lot of the industries, honestly. So it's exciting to see, and as I talk to more pool pros, it seems like everyone's really excited about this technology and how it can improve their customer lives, their tech lives. And we'll talk about some of those use cases today. So it's good to kind of level set on what AI is good at. There's a lot of excitement about it, but AI is generally great at like text patterns and research. It can save you hours writing emails, summarizing documents, doing data analysis or research. But AI is kind of a people pleaser. It will try to answer you and give you an answer or help you out, even if it's wrong or it can't. So it doesn't always know when it's wrong, and it will confidently try to make things up. So that's something you really need to know about. Don't let AI auto reply to like serious complaints or, legal issues or, any kind of safety critical calls around safety of equipment or electrical or different issues like that. You want to make sure you don't have that human element or that human in the loop making those decisions. AI drafts, but you decide. So it can be a thought partner, it can be assistant, but taking certain critical tasks on its own is something you need to be very aware of. Great. And now we're going to talk a little bit just like AI specifically in the pool industry. So the most recent survey we did, we saw a lot of excitement in experimenting with AI, and the survey we just did as well. 48% are open and exploring, 15% are already using AI in their business. What I thought was interesting was 84% are using it within their personal lives. I know I use it in my personal life. I was talking to Ben Neighbors about like workout routines using AI. We recently took a trip. It was my travel planner for our trip. It even gave me advice of like what's good for a toddler and what's not. So I think there's a lot of use cases personally for AI that people are using. But I think, for the ones that aren't using it in their business, take that next step. How can this help improve your business and make your life easier in those aspects as well? What tools are pool pros actually using? 45% are using the free version of ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. 28% are using paid. And other pros are using it in their existing software, whether it be CRM or marketing software, app builders, a very small amount using that. One thing I'll say is there's a very big difference between a free ChatGPT Claude instance and a paid. And the price isn't that much, right? I think you can get started for $20 a month with ChatGPT or Claude Pro or these kind of paid subscriptions, and you're going to see significantly better results using those paid tiers. There's also some privacy elements as well that you get benefits from the paid tiers, but I highly recommend making that investment for those that haven't in those paid tools and experimenting with those. It really is a much different, better experience leveraging those versions of all these AI tools. In the survey, we kind of asked pros, what are the top capabilities they wanted? What are their top concerns? So the top capabilities were like AI assisted training and field support. And that really resonates with the biggest concern that pool pros had in the state of the pool service, that hiring, training, and managing pool techs is really difficult. It's really kind of a bottleneck for a lot of pool owners. So using AI makes a lot of sense, right? Can AI help in this? And we'll talk a little bit about that here. Data analysis and business insights. That was the second biggest capability. And that's something AI is really great at, right? Like pulling lots of data together, analyzing it, finding patterns, finding those insights. AI is really powerful. AI route optimization, another big one. AI chemical dosing recommendations and customer follow-ups were some top capabilities. Top concerns, data privacy, right? Everyone's concerned the data they put in. Everyone knows AI is kind of using all this data to train. Are they using my data? What kind of information am I giving that's being shared more broadly? Errors and inaccuracies. Again, AI will hallucinate. AI will make things up. So that is a big concern. A lot of proponents just don't trust it yet, right? And I think that kind of ties into the first 2 points, right? I'm worried about privacy. I don't know where this data is going. I'm worried about the accuracy and errors that I can produce. That kind of like reduces the trust that people have in the AI. And the last reason is like cost and complexity to set up. I think a lot of people view this as intimidating. And we'll talk a little bit today about how you can really kind of step in and get started relatively easily. And these concerns are real, but I kind of want to address them real quickly. First is the data privacy. Is my customer data being used to train AI? Am I giving it things that I may not want to? And there's a couple things to think about. One is if something's very sensitive, just don't give it to the AI. Don't give it context. Don't upload the report or take things out of it that you may not want it to know. That's one kind of layer you can use. Another one is the paid tiers do allow you some limitation of what's used to train and what it keeps in memory and things like that. So the paid versions do have some kind of guardrails around the privacy concerns. Next is accuracy and errors. Like, what if AI gives me the wrong answer? And I think you should almost expect that there should be wrong answers. But we'll talk about ways to mitigate that. If you give the AI the right kind of context and instructions and guidelines, that reduces the inaccuracies, reduces the errors that it may provide. And also just know that like if this is critical, like I need to double check it. I need to have that human in that loop and let AI get you 80% of the way there. Think of it as first draft, right? AI puts that first draft together for you. I need to go back and double check it and put it together and just make sure it's what it needs to be. The last one is customer trust. Will my customers be turned off if they find I'm using AI? And there's a lot of emotion around AI for a lot of different reasons. But the truth of the matter is, everyone's using AI. If you do a Google search right now, whether you like it or not, the AI results come up on front. Like, if you call a call tree, AI is in everyone's lives. And I think people are going to get more and more used to it. So we'll talk a little bit about the tools to get started with AI. So these are the big three: Claude, which is Anthropic; Gemini, which is Google; and ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. There's a bunch of other models that are worth exploring, right? Perplexity is really interesting. They just launched Perplexity Computer, which is a kind of agentic workflow that sits on your computer to like help automate workflows. Meta has their AI. There's XAI as well. But these are the big three for business owners I recommend kind of looking into initially. First is Claude, and Claude is kind of my favorite. They've really kind of advanced in the last, I think, 4 to 6 months, providing really good business value tools. You have Claude Cowork, which has context and understanding of your computer. You can give it context to like your Google Drive or files on your computer to help it, create tasks and work more efficiently. It has Claude Design that just launched like a week and a half ago that I haven't even had a chance to dive into too much. Claude Code, I know Pool Pros today are building their own little widgets, building websites using Claude Code. And Projects, which is a really easy tool to use, but very powerful, that you can create a project that you can upload files, upload context, and all that's contained in this almost like folder. So you can ask multiple questions and keep this like rolling account of what you're trying to do within a project and share that project with the other people within your team. Google and OpenAI have kind of very similar things, like Gemini Gems. These are kind of like custom GPTs or tools for repeated tasks. So this is almost like a skill in Claude. They have workflow builders, deep research, and the best thing about Gemini, if you're a Google Workspace user, is built into the Google Workspace apps. You can use it in Sheets. You can use it in Gmail or Docs to like generate content. So that fact that's embedded in your workspace is really powerful. And that's a great place to even start using those little tools, whether it be in a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, to start leveraging AI to help you save time. And ChatGPT, they just launched their new model. It's really powerful. They have a very similar set of tools to the other two as well. So it's almost like Pepsi, Coke, figure out which one you like the most, but most of all, just start playing with it. There's also a bunch of specialized tools out there. Manus is like a multi-use agent for business. It does lots of different things. A Notebook LM, I know a lot of pool pros are using that today. It kind of helps maintain context. You can upload a lot of information for it and give outputs in various formats very easily. Canva is great for design. Clay.com is a great data provider and go-to-market engine. Jasper for copy. Lots of different these tools that have AI at the core of their foundation that is interesting for business users to kind of play and leverage. So now I want to talk about just using AI, and I'm not going to go too deep into this because there's a lot to cover, but I think there's three main things when using AI that can help you get much better output and really make it more useful for you. First one's prompting, right? This is like telling the AI what to do. And you don't have to be a prompt expert. You don't need a prompt engineer. The old adage of like trying to describe it to like a fifth grader applies here. Like, don't assume it knows something. It's almost better if you don't. So, in plain English, just describe what you want to do. Hey, I'm a pool pro. I'm a pool owner in Phoenix. I'm trying to write emails to my customers about a price change. I'm worried about A, B, and C. Give it as much context as you can, and give it a good list of instructions. The next is context. The more it understands, the better. So, for example, if you have a spreadsheet of your customers, that's context, right? That's giving it understanding of your customers. If there's instructions or SOPs that you want, or your pricing sheet, that's more context. You can get really in depth with like a model context protocol or MCP, which maybe connects into other tools to give it that context. But context is just as easy as giving it a little bit additional information of what you're trying to do. The next is guidelines. Like, what output do you want? Is there a length? There's a constraint, a tone, right? What are the things that you want to make sure it doesn't do? Like, don't make things up. It's maybe something you put in the guidelines. If you add these three things in instructing AI, you'll get much, much better results out of the output. So again, AI doesn't need to be intimidating. Start playing with the tool. Using these three, prompting, context, and guidelines will help make sure you eliminate those errors, eliminate those inaccuracies, and start to provide real value to your business using AI. So this is an example of what a good prompt looks like, right? Hey, write me an email to a customer who missed their cleaning, right? That doesn't give a lot of context, right? Like the AI is just going to try to make things up on its own if it doesn't have enough context or information in the prompt. Here's a little bit better prompt, right? You're a pool service owner in Phoenix who's writing to a residential customer who missed their weekly clean. Write a friendly, direct follow-up, right? I'm giving it the instructions on the task. Acknowledge it was missed, offer to reschedule, give a credit, right? Keep it under 120 words, but keep it professional, right? That is a much better information than it is for the first one. And you can think of like AI as like your intern, right? If you give an intern or a brand new employee a task, they may not be able to just jump in and do it on their own unless you give them a little bit more information. Think of your AI as the same way. How can I really give it what it needs to know to get the best output for this task? And feed it what it needs, right? And set the rules. So for context, like, if you have a document trying to edit, upload the document, upload your SAPs, create a Claude project and have all your SOPs in that Claude project. It will know and understand that. It'll fundamentally understand those SOPs and give outputs and react towards those. If you're trying to diagnose something, make sure you have equipment details, right? You don't just take a picture of a pump or a filter and say, hey, diagnosis or how do I install this? Give the model number, give the situation like, hey, I'm installing in a very old system, right? The more information it has, the better, right? Past examples is another great way. And keep your prompts like somewhere else. Like if you're using AI to write like an email for you, give your favorite three emails like of handling a situation, whether it be a marketing email or something else. The AI will use those past examples to create the new content. And then create those guidelines, right? Do's and don'ts, formats, length. Those guidelines help, again, give you the better output. So next, we're going to talk a little about vibe coding. So vibe coding is, you probably heard of quite a bit. Vibe coding is like myself, anyone that's not like a professional developer, knows a lot about coding, building software tools. It's a great tool to play with. There's a lot of value, but there's also a lot of some pitfalls we need to be aware of as well. So where vibe coding works, is it an internal tool that doesn't need, like lots of people aren't using, right? The less amount of users, the better vibe coding's for, because lots of users, you have lots of edge cases, you have, demand on the system that vibe coded apps aren't really great at handling. So some examples, maybe like a quote, like, or, you can vibe code like a form on your website to like for lead gen. Prototypes and experiments is good at. Tasks you'd otherwise skip entirely. Where it's dangerous, where you want to use a proven software, anything related to data or payments, right? There's certain protocols in place, security that you need there. Anything you can't audit or debug. Vibe coded apps break more often than regular apps. Right? They're not as tested, they're not as put through the ringer as much as like proven software. So if something breaks, is that going to hurt your business? Is this a critical process that you need to happen? And if it breaks, are you able to debug it in time, right? Like that's a big thing you need to consider. There's also scalability and privacy, right? We're not the only ones using AI. All the bad actors, all the hackers out there are also using AI to get payment information, to kind of hack into systems. So is it secure? Is it scalable? That component of vibe coded apps is a big concern that you need to be aware of. And because of vibe coding, you're going to see a lot of softwares hit the market, right? I'm on the Pool Pro Reddit forums and different forums, and I always see someone come up like, hey, I'm building an app for my uncle's company, or hey, I have a great idea for a Pool Pro app. A lot of these people are like, hey, I can build software. What can I go build software for different industries or tasks that I can try to make money on? And I think that's great. It's great to experiment. But you as a pool pro, you as a business owner need to understand, can I build my business on this, right? Are there security holes that I can't see? Am I putting all my information, customer information in there just to be hacked and sold on the dark web, right? Will this vendor be around, in a couple of months? If they're launching a new business and they're charging a low amount of money, if I join that software and I'm running my business, like, do they have support? Like, do they have enough revenue to be there in 3 months when I need them during the busy season, right? You know, support and success. Like, can they onboard me? Can they help me with the things that I need to when things get hairy within my business? And look, if I need to change, can I actually get my data out? If I want to move to a new provider, things aren't working out with this brand new company, Can I get my data out of there? So, not to say that these things aren't great, that, this technology is here to kind of like provide more solutions, but a lot of concerns, a lot of considerations that need to happen when considering like a new provider.
Can I add something there, Joe?
Yeah, yeah, cool.
One thing that I've certainly seen in my tech career, even predating, Skimmer, is it is actually pretty difficult to make sure that an app works consistently across a multitude of phone operating systems, underlying platforms. If someone is coding something and APIs change for one of their providers or one of their plugins, like all that stuff needs to have people who know how that works and who are on top of it. We made a switch to our underlying platform on mobile because our old platform was reaching its end of life. And being able to pick up and lift our app and basically rewrite it for this newer platform was a huge task. And I think that it might seem easy on paper to go out and vibe code an app, but the truth of the matter is, when it comes to security, when it comes to compatibility, when it comes to scalability, when it comes to stability, you really want to choose a partner who has the expertise to make sure that that app is going to perform well at scale.
Yeah. And partner, Nikki, I love that you use that word because you should there are some softwares that are point solutions that, hey, I just need a little widget or app to do this one thing. But if you're running your entire business, like, Skimmer is a platform to run your business, you want a partner. You want someone that's invested in the success of your business and invested in the success of the industry as a whole. And I think finding that partner is really key, particularly in things that are really critical to your business. So, through this survey and other ways, we've kind of collected some use cases from other pool pros. We got a lot of use cases in, which is really exciting. So we're sharing a few of them here, but a lot more is out there, right? And Nikki and I have been talking about ways to kind of share these with the larger pool pro community because there's a lot of exciting things y'all are doing out there using AI. So the first is AI as a field trainer. And actually, a lot of pool pros are using this. A lot of pool techs are using this. And I talked to Zach at Sink or Swim, and we talked about how his team's using it. And really, again, AI can be inaccurate. It can give you answers that may not be right. But if you use it as that thought partner, it can be great in the field, right? You can use for diagnosing pool situations or repaired. You can use it for chemical dosage and gallonage calculations, identifying equipment and looking up specs. A lot of the AIs allow you to upload an image, and it can help you identify what that part is or what that pool pump is. And this is a picture of I'm actually going to get it wrong. It's like a Teledyne heater. It's something that I don't think it's even on the market for. And Zach shared a story of like, this is an edge case that really not a lot of people knew how to handle, but they were able to take a picture of it. The AI is able to find the manuals and help at least give some initial guidance of how to help manage that. And again, you don't want it to take it as the last answer, but describe the situation, add a photo. Hey, here's a pump I want to install, particularly for new techs that are kind of learning. Ask the AI, ask follow-up questions like, hey, how would you handle this? Challenge the AI sometimes. If you're not sure about the answer, don't be afraid to challenge the AI. Like, hey, how did you come up with that answer? Or like, why are you thinking of approaching it that way? And once you get the advice, validate the answer. If it's something like electrical, something that's more critical or has like a danger component to it, you may not want to take the AI at answer, but at least it can help you guide you along the way. And again, Zach was telling me about one of his pool techs that had AI. He had his headphones in, was using the voice functionality for it. And within 2 or 3 months, just because had this kind of thought partner in the field, his training like accelerated. He was asking Zach questions that a more seasoned pool pro would be asking about like situations and how to handle things because he was using AI as a thought partner. And again, I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything to this one as well, but I know you've been seeing a lot of this.
If I had $1 for every Facebook post that was like, what kind of light is this? Or can someone tell me what this in-floor cleaner brand is? This is a great use case for AI, right? Like a lot of these manufacturers have photos that are uploaded. Even Google image search is a very, very powerful tool of being able to just take a picture of what you're looking at and upload it and see if it can guide you in the right place.
Yeah, and this doesn't replace the expertise that a pool tech, a pool pro has. It's supplemental. Again, it's that assistant, it's that guide. Next, there's a team training and engagement. Ben Neighbors shared with me they use Notebook LLM. They upload all their SOPs, upload a lot of pool context, and use it to kind of train their teams. And they were able to take very complicated SOPs and make them much simpler, right? This is on the left. We have an example of how to recommend a pool replacement, a pool pump replacement or repair based on lots of different things. They have this simplified using AI. So using it for training, using it for tools in different formats, so it's all in one place. He can train new kind of office manager on things. He can provide that for his team. On the right, Chansey came up with a really, I thought, innovative and kind of fun way to engage her team. I think they did kind of a Price is Right or Family Feud type every week to kind of engage the team and make it more fun. She's using AI to kind of engage her team, right? Ask them questions. So not only is it training, but it's fun in a very unique way. So I think tons of AI use cases, and the more creative you are, the more you can make it your own, I think the better it works for you. Next, and this is a big one, a marketing and communication, right? Um, Lots of content, right? I think building this using AI is a no-brainer. Um, Bearded Pool Services, Robert and Jim shared their examples. They created a whole a video, a whole commercial using AI, and it's like funny. It's really tight to their brand. I can't play the video here, but I shared some images. But they have this character that they created with AI, and it's in their social media. They're creating commercials for it. And I know if you had to go out and do that, before AI, it costs a lot of money. You'd have to hire animators. It'd take a long time. Here, they're really diving into their brand and like really kind of differentiating their company using this character, using AI to build the social media content. But lots of other use cases here, right? Like emails. Hey, I want to send quarterly emails. I don't know where to start. AI is great at generating that first draft of like quarterly customer newsletters or a service reminder about opens or closes or filter changes. It can also help polish customer communication. Do you have a hard email to write to your customer? Use AI. Hey, how do I make this in a very friendly tone, right? How do I, you know, boil down this situation? Or like you unfortunately get a bad review for whatever reason. How can I respond to the review, taking emotion out of it in the right way? AI is really good at these type of things. And now it's becoming good to even create brochures and flyers and other assets for your business. Don't be afraid to kind of like give it that first pass. It may not be perfect, but it might be better than nothing. And talking to Ben, actually, he's like, it's exciting for new pool companies, right? He's like, they can catch up to me now much faster than I was able to before, right? I'd have to hire a marketing agency. I'd have to do all these different things to get my social media going, to get the content going. Now you can leverage AI to kind of do all that for you to at least get you started where you may otherwise not have time to put all that stuff together. And you can get more advanced with it. Dean at Big Family Pools, he uses in Claude Code and Skimmer's API to build custom dashboards and widgets. He's just talking to Claude in natural language. I'm like, Dean, do you have coding experience? Do you have a technical background? He's like, no, I just really talk to it, right? I'm like, hey, here's my goal, right? I want to be able to accomplish X, Y, and Z. And then talking with Claude Code, he's able to build custom dashboard. He has kind of his like CEO kind of task center or command center that he pulls a lot of different things in together. So he's able to kind of build widgets and custom point solutions on top of Skimmer to, again, make his business run more efficiently, help save himself time. And he's put a lot of time and effort in a lot of this. So he's built like a pipeline view. He's built this command center. He has another customer view where you can click a button to kind of call or text a customer, right? This is leveraging what Skimmer built, which is scalable, secure. You know Skimmer's going to be in the next couple of years. And then building things that Skimmer may not have yet or may not want to build in the future for all of our customers for his specific business. And I think that's the right way to think about kind of like vibe coding is not trying to build another Skimmer because, hey, I know I work for Skimmer, but it is very hard, as Niki said, to build a scalable application that's going to have the longevity. But these small kind of widgets to build on top of it, I think that's the right way to think of this. And another great example is data analysis and insights. This is where like AI really shines. If you have 100, 700, 1,000 pools, it's hard to stay on top of everything. But if you leverage AI, maybe download reports from Skimmer and upload it into Claude or ChatGPT, you can find insights, you can find repairs. Ben was kind of downloading all his invoices from Heritage and Pool Corp and then matching it with work orders, right? But that's something that would take hours and hours and hours to do manually. AI can help you do that. And again, it's not always accurate. He found discrepancies that weren't quite correct, but it got him 80% of the way there. He's like, yep, okay, here's the ones I needed to look at. These ones weren't quite accurate, but that alone saved him hours and hours of work. So, give it more context. Do you have different systems? Pull the information into one, kind of like Claude or ChatGPT. Let it find patterns, outliers, and trends that spreadsheets won't surface. You can build custom dashboards, right? Every day, run the same Claude prompt on this information. And then again, verify before you act, right? Don't call a customer because you feel like they haven't paid. Just double check it. But what the AI can do is really save you the time from like fishing and trying to find all that information. Great. So now I wanted to kind of chat a little bit about AI at Skimmer. We're doing a lot of exciting things, and we'll share some of that with you today. And first, I want to talk a little bit, how we think about AI here at Skimmer. And it's built for the pool industry, not bolted on. In this survey, we saw that 75% of pool pros would pay a premium for AI built for their industry, not generic tools. And that's how Skimmer's thinking about AI. We're not just using it for the sake of AI. We're making it pool specific, purpose built, trained on the largest pool data set available. So we're pulling in lots of information from different places, using it to kind of be very pool specific. Is integrated within Skimmer. The tools that we're building aren't separate tools to be managed and integrated. Is right within Skimmer. So our AI phone, it creates a customer right within your Skimmer platform, right? Next is practical. We a lot of things to be with AI, a lot of experimentation going on at the organization, but what we actually build and put into the platform is practical. We want to make sure it's making y'all's lives better. So it's practical, it's built for the work. Real tools that save time, make your lives, your tech's lives, and your customer lives better. And most importantly, I say it's safe. It's built with the guardrails of privacy and security as first principles. We want to make sure that we're not building AI that will go off the rails or give wrong answers. So one of the things we'll talk about today, we're making sure, right? We could probably have launched it a month ago, but we're really making sure that the information, the answers that it's giving has those guidelines, has those contexts in place. So it's giving you more accurate answers. So first, what we're launching now is AI Phone. Many of you may already be using this, but I'm really excited about this offering. It's built for pool pros, it's trained on pool data, has extensive pool context. And what AI Phone allows you to do is after hour calls or when you're out cleaning a pool, it'll answer those phone calls for you, leveraging AI and, take that new lead in and put it within Skimmer for you, or alert you of an urgent, pool pump repair that needs to be had. All that context, all that information is handled by AI Phone. It's native within Skimmer, right? So the logs are called, it's all within the same platform. And it's customizable. You can tell it, hey, don't talk about pricing, upload your SOPs, different voices even, and a lot more features for this to come. But we're really excited about this first initial kind of like AI product launch within Skimmer.
I have to comment, go back one, Joe. So, Dean, you're right. I've never personally seen a pool that could get that close to a pool. This would be an example of maybe AI that should have been checked and verified before we posted it. And look, this is a good example, right? Of maybe not maybe using AI but verifying before you put something up. You're totally right. I've never seen a driveway go up to a pool in a backyard like that. I suppose it's possible, but I haven't
It,
seen one.
it is possible. We looked at a house where the pool was in the front yard, actually, which I thought was interesting. So you never know, right? But yeah, there was a pool in the front yard, and we didn't get my
I
wife.
I I will say for AI phone too, having been in the pool business myself, I threw some crazy scenarios at it. I mean, you know, dead animals in the pool. My husband dropped a grill in the pool. I threw some crazy stuff at it and it handled it beautifully. So, we do have a test number if you are interested in trying AI phone. Feel free to run it through the gamut. It's really good at collecting data and putting that into Skimmer for you so that if you have a prospect that's interested in service, but your hands are wet and you can't get to the phone, it's actually engaging with them and collecting that information so that you can get back to them with a lot more context than you would otherwise.
And what's coming next is AI insights. So, we talked about how it's really good at data analysis, download or upload it. Very soon, you won't need to do that. We're building an AI within the Skimmer platform that has access to all your information. So you don't need to be a spreadsheet wizard where you're downloading VLOOKUP different things with reports. You can ask it questions in natural language and it'll give you answers. So, what customers are not assigned to a route? How much time do my techs spend on site? Which customers owe me money, right? Lots of different questions. You can ask Skimmer and it'll give you those answers. So this is coming very soon. We're really excited about this. And again, this will help, again, using AI to help save you time on data analysis and give you those insights you wouldn't have otherwise. Niki, anything you wanted to add here?
Yeah, I was trying to find that AI test number. When it comes to AI insights, this is also pretty powerful because again, you can just ask questions to your data and not have to pull a custom report or export anything. So we really try to look at things that you might really want to know about. Especially when it comes to like future development where we're working on, readings and dosages and alerting. If you have customers that are past due, if you have techs that are overdosing or using more than they should, as far as like chlorine tabs to indicate that maybe some buckets of chlorine are walking away. So this is, we're just beginning with this, but this is really going to be something that hopefully that you will be able to rely on. We are going to make sure that it's 100% accurate. We do have quite a number of people beta testing this right now. And if you are interested in beta testing it, please let us know. Drop a comment and we can get you hooked up.
And the next one that's coming out a little bit later is tech assistance. And we talked about this one. It was the number one requested feature in the survey, that and chemical dosages. And for me, this is how I view AI as like being really powerful. It's not replacing people. It's AI is that partner, right? How do I become a better employee, a better provider to my customers by using AI? And this is one way of doing that. So this is a tech assistant that can help, ID equipment, help give chemistry troubleshooting or repair troubleshootings. It'll have your knowledge and your skimming knowledge layered in so you can have custom SOPs, and it's directly within the Skimmer application. So this has the prompts already pre-built in that we kind of talked about. It'll have the context already pre-built in, both from pool industry context and Skimmer platform context as well. And finally have the guidelines built in. You can't ask it to like, ask random information like a regular kind of Claude or ChatGPT. It'll be specific to this knowledge, so much more efficient. Also, it can work offline, no signal needed at the equipment pad. So this is coming, right? Again, if you're interested in it, drop a comment, as Niki said. But this one I'm very, very excited about and think it will have a huge impact in the pool industry. So what is your adoption plan? So I think there's 4 steps to get started. No AI guru or like, course on Instagram that you need to buy. Make it really simple for yourself. First, it's just like start playing. If you're not using these tools, start using them now. They're fun to play with, right? Use it professionally, use it personally even, but start just using them now to get used to them, understand the different components of them. Next, make a plan. What are the top 3 pain points that AI could address? Maybe this is something that you just haven't gotten to yet. Hey, I'd love to have a newsletter, but I just haven't gotten to yet. I'd love to have a blog, but I haven't gotten to yet. But hey, I'd love to look at my customers and see maybe who I can upsell. These are things that you may not be able to get to. AI can help you do that. So make a plan of maybe those 2 or 3 things that you want to. Next is like secure a tool. I highly recommend paying. It's worth the $20. You can always cancel it if you don't feel like it, but pay for get a paid kind of Claude ChatGPT account, and then ask the tool for help. If you don't know where to start, hey Claude, I want to start a blog for my website. How do you recommend I get started? Right? Talk to it as like that assistant. Right? It's going to walk you through these steps. Next is like measure and make sure where to double down. Hey, has this saved me time? Am I producing output? Right? One of the biggest things with AI is lots of AI projects can get started. I'm guilty of this myself, and they never get done, right? So make sure that you're measuring and you're tracking and you're closing end to end to like so you can move on to that next project. Start small, measure and just really scale what works. Continue to invest in the kind of tools or the workflows that are working for you.
Yes. Speaking of AI, we're going to be talking a lot about AI at our upcoming first National Skimmer Pro Summit. So, for those of you who haven't been part of Skimmer for a while, we've done two pro summits. We did one here in Austin. We did one last year in Phoenix. This year is our first national conference. So this is open to all Skimmer customers in the country. It is absolutely free if you're a Skimmer customer. It's a day and a half. There's food, there's beverage, there's beers, there's leadership development. There are breakout rooms where you get to meet and network with people who are similar in terms of size and business that you are. It is a really, really cool experience. I know some of you who are in chat attended the last one, and registration just opened. So if you are interested, I think we started sending out emails and posting about it. I know there's information in our pool deck community about it, but there's the URL there. If you want to register, register. We've got room for right around 250 to 300 people, and we do expect this will sell out. We've already had a super high number of people register. It is located on the San Antonio Riverwalk, which if you've never been to the Riverwalk, that's where the Alamo is. Pew, pew, pew. Come see the Alamo. Come check out the Riverwalk. There's dining, there's shopping, there's all kinds of really cool historical significance in the town of San Antonio as well. So if you are interested, again, please register. If you want more information about this, all the information, all the details, the schedule is all located at that URL, getskimmer.com/pro-summit. And if it's not working for you, by the way, you do have to put HTTP and not HTTPS. So if you get a 404, try it with the HTTP. And I will also pop this into chat too, just in case you want to copy and paste it for later. I love this event. I think it's great. I've done a gazillion conferences and I've never been to a conference like this one. It is so much more than just a standard conference. So I'll get off my soapbox. That's all I have to say about that. I hope the others that were there will agree.
No, I was there and I agree. Just the cross-pollination of ideas amongst pool pros was exciting. I've never been part of an industry that's so open and sharing and empowering direct competitors in their same city to be successful. So just the energy around that was amazing. So before we go to Q&A, just five things to take with you. AI adoption is already happening, right? If you're a laggard, if you're not sure it's for you, it's happening. Your customers are using it. It's everywhere. AI is a tool, not a replacement, right? It drafts, you decide. Use that as an assistant. Make you 2x you using AI. The concerns are real but solvable, right? Get a business plan. Be aware of the pitfalls and just know that. The opportunity is the admin tax, right? Every hour AI saves you on like writing a blog or paperwork or analysis is an hour back. You can focus on your customers. You can focus on your crew. You can focus on yourself, right? Let AI do kind of the tedious tasks, and you put your time into things that will move your business forward or that are much more valuable than what the AI can do. And again, start with one tool, one task this week. Make it simple. Start playing, get a paid subscription, and just try one or two things. And with that, I think let's shoot to Q&A.
I am going to go ahead and drop that AI test phone number there. Hold on, let me double check this and make sure I typed it right. I think we have a couple of test numbers, but the one that I was using is this one. So if you want to, also if you go into your web portal, I believe you can also test if you're looking to set up. There is a 30-day free trial, correct, Joe, on the AI phone?
Yes.
So if you just want to try it out and kick the tires, it is pretty cool. It will take a log of your phone call, and if there's somebody who's not in the system already, it will create a record for them and mark them as a lead so that you can follow up with them. And you can always go back and reference all the phone calls as long as you are using the AI phone. What I would say is if you guys want to use the AI and gals want to use the AI phone, don't replace the number that is generated for you with your own phone number. Like use your own phone number. That way, we don't have the ability to give you like a custom area code or anything like that. But keep your own phone number and forward it to the AI phone number. And if you're using iPhones, there's a couple toggles you have to turn off, but it's really, really cool. It's super powerful. And if you are out there busy on the day, or if you just don't want to answer, phone calls on the nights and weekends, it's a pretty powerful tool to make sure that you're capturing intent and context. There's also an AI guide that has a lot of copy pastable prompting stuff that you can put in there as far as transfer rules. So if you have someone that calls in with a billing question and you want to just forward that off to a billing number or a billing person, you can do that. Same thing if it's a repair and you have a repair manager. If someone says something's broken and it has to do with equipment, you can automatically forward it to the most appropriate person or department within your company. So really, really cool stuff, really powerful. We have a great relationship with our vendor, and we're constantly adding additional integrations with different voice over IP providers. So if you are using like a Google number or, Quo used to be called Open Phone or one of those things, we do have instructions there on how to properly set it up in conjunction with another provider.
Cool. And a couple questions that came in around AI phone that I'll just get to. Um, is the question was, will AI be able to go through your current customer contact list to see if they're already a new customer with the AI phone? Yes. When someone calls in, they'll know if they're a customer or not using the phone number matching. And if not a customer, they'll create a new customer. So it does have that context of who's a customer and who's not a customer.
Yeah,
Another,
so long as they're calling from the same phone number,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Someone asked, "Hey, what should I get a paid subscription to, ChatGPT or Claude?" I like Claude. ChatGPT just came out with a bunch of cool functionality as well. I honestly have a paid subscription to both. I'd play with both of them. Both have free trials. Play with both. Which interface do you like more? Each one has almost like its own personality in a way. So I'd play with both of them and decide which one you want to work with. I like Claude quite a bit, but I think it's really up to each individual person, like what they like better. Some people love Gemini. Some people love ChatGPT.
I
Nikki,
started with ChatGPT and I love it. I love the image creation or being able to edit images on the fly. I also love it for ideation, so I can just dump it a file of all my random thoughts and have it organize my thoughts. If we're going to do a webinar or a podcast or anything of that nature, I take my podcasts transcripts and I load them up into ChatGPT and I say, write me an appropriate description for YouTube, keep it under 200 words, and give me all the tags that I need. And 99.9% of the time, it's almost perfect. Like, very rarely do I have to make a ton of changes to that, but it actually summarizes podcast episodes better than I ever could.
and Andrea, you're the one that asked the question. Have each one pitch you, right? Get the free subscription. Be like, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. Here's who I am. Why should I use you over Claude? Why should I use you over ChatGPT, right? It's interesting the way you can just talk to these AI providers, these AI tools, and help you use a tool, even help you decide which tool to use. Someone asked about using AI offline, that most AI models require some kind of cloud connection. And that's true. Like most AI won't work without the cloud connection. That's going to be one of the really key benefits of what we're building here at Skimmer is that the functionality will be able to work offline. And so it's a whole kind of technical implementation of how that's done. But that's something that's going to be unique to Skimmer to allow that kind of the tech assistance or field assistant AI to work offline. Let's see here.
We have some questions that kind of landed in chat. What is the criteria for API access to my Skimmer data? Dan, if you are curious about that, feel free to email our support team. If you have a customer success manager and you know who they are, they could definitely help you get set up with API access and get you all of the necessary documents over for you to review to do that. We also had some questions about AI route optimization. This is something that we are heavily exploring right now, and I want to thank the couple of you that sent over your ideas of what you'd like to set as far as like business rules. Like if you have an Airbnb and you're like, okay, I need to service these two pools, but I need 3 days in between, or I have a tech that has to be done by 4 o'clock, or I have these customers that don't want to be serviced on a Monday. Those kinds of business rules are actually super, super duper interesting. Again, if you have suggestions about what you would like in I'll call a bulk route optimization tool, please, please, please be as descriptive as possible. Anytime any of you submit a feature request, a ticket is logged and everyone in the company can see it. So anytime you have these ideas or there's something that you're thinking about, our product managers are always looking for people to talk to when they go out and build these things to make sure it's going to fit as many types of different scenarios and use cases as possible. But the best way, the absolute best way to put in a feature request is email it to us, be descriptive, and tell us what you're trying to solve for. That's also super helpful. A lot of what we build in terms of our roadmap is based on the frequency of those tickets and those requests. So if you have something that you're super interested in, send it our way. We will make sure that those are captured and that they are visible, not only to our product team, but to everyone in the company.
Another AI, a couple AI phone questions around, does it work with Google Voice? Different things like that. We'll reach out, Larry, and a couple others around like the specific questions around AI phone. We'll get those answers and see if we can help you get you onboarded. Not every phone system works with AI phone right now, but we are building and adding. Some of it is on the phone provider of how they handle call forwarding. So if they don't handle call forwarding the right way from the phone provider, that does cause some roadblocks for implementing AI phone, but we'll definitely reach out and see if we can get that resolved.
I know there's like some certain things. I think Google Voice does work, but there's some things that you have to like turn off inside of Google Voice in order for it to work. Like, and this is true on iPhones too, like the auto transcription will prevent the call from being forwarded. So there's certain toggles depending on your provider that you may need to adjust on your provider side in order for it to work properly. And we do have all that documented, I believe. So feel free to ping our support team and we can get you that information.
Great. I think we got most of these answered, Nikki. We have maybe time for one or two more. Aldo asked about Obsidian. I'm using it for company knowledge. I think that's like a context. I actually don't know much about Obsidian. There are like so many tools out there, and sometimes it's overwhelming just trying to know all of them. But I'd say play with it, right? I think it's similar to maybe Notebook LM or some of these other tools that's like a knowledge store that the AI can work with. Like experiment, right? I think that's the best way. Or create a plan. Like what I do with AI is, hey, before I implement some new tool, a new process, I'm like, I plan with it. Hey, what are the pros and cons? And I challenge it too. I like even my own thought process. I try to make it the kind of devil's advocate. Like, hey, I'm thinking about this problem this way. Am I right? What am I missing? Give me a counter argument. And so before I put something into place, I plan with AI first and then use AI to kind of help me put the plan together and execute it. So Obsidian MD, maybe ask what are the alternatives? Here's my goal. What's the best thing to implement? AI will kind of guide you in an area that may previously know nothing about to help you guide you along with that.
One thing we didn't cover today, Joe, that I just wanted to mention before we let folks go is AI is also changing the way that people find your business online. We did get some pretty crazy stats from one of our partners, a company called Pull Profits that does marketing agency stuff for pull service providers. And they've been tracking what is happening with search engines. So a lot of folks, especially younger folks, instead of going to like Google, which Google has Gemini built in now in search, but some people are just going to ChatGPT to try to find things. And so as AI progresses and as the landscape changes in terms of searchability, not only for search engine optimization, but for for GEO and AIO, different types of engine optimization, it may be necessary for you to start thinking about how to better market your company and make sure that your information is seeding some of these platforms that are being used to recommend service to people. There's going to be more on that. I do have a podcast episode on the Between Two Stops podcast that'll be out in a couple weeks. We had a really deep conversation about this, and it was super interesting to me. I had no idea, but it's just something to keep on your radar. Like, if you want to be on the bleeding edge of being able to be found on the internet, start thinking about making sure that you are prepared to enable your information to be searchable and found by some of these agents online.
And just to close, I think about where you're at the AI maturity curve. If you're already using it as an assistant, great. How do I take that next step? Pick one task, right? Pick one tool this week. See if you can help move your business forward and adopting these tools.
One last question for you all. If there was an AI specific group inside of our pool deck community, would you be interested in joining? Type one for yes or two for no.
No
Noted.
two, no two so far. Yeah.
No two. Yeah. Okay, great. I think one of the best ways that we can learn is through each other, and the pool deck is a great place to do that. The Pro Summit's a great place to do that. We're always looking for ways to improve those platforms and make them useful for to you. So we'll take this back to Justine, who manages our community, and see if we can't spin up an AI group where y'all can share what you're doing with AI. Thanks for that feedback. And with that, I think we're done. If there's something that you would love to see in terms of something you want featured on a webinar or a workshop that you're interested in, or any topic that you would like to know more about, we're going to send an email out with the recording to this webinar. I get all the replies to those, so feel free to reply to that. And if you have an idea for us on something you want us to cover, let us know. We're here to serve you and help you build a great business. And with that, we'll go ahead and end it. Thank you, everyone. We hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, y'all.